But because I've spent so much time talking about things that you don't need a coaching certification for, let me talk about some of the things that you can do with a coaching certification. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time certified 7-figure life and business coach, as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things. And today I wanted to talk about some things that you can do with a coaching certification. In fact, I feel like I have to eat a little bit of crow because I've spent a lot of time on this channel talking about all the things you can do without a certification, and all those things are true, right? So before someone tries to come for me in the comments, I have said, and I still maintain, that you actually don't need a coaching certification in order to be a coach. What you need is an effective coaching methodology in order to get your clients results. Now, there are some people, I think Tony Robbins is a great example of this, who can develop this on their own over time, and it gets great results, and people are amazed by it, and they come up with their own coaching methodology and certify other coaches, and it's fantastic. But others, especially if you are just trying to get into the coaching business, might decide, you know what, I think I just want to get my coaching certification, learn how to coach effectively, and then I'll develop my skills over time. So there is no wrong way, but because I've spent so much time talking about things that you don't need a coaching certification for, let me talk about some of the things that you can do with a coaching certification. All right, the first, which is the most obvious, but I think it's the most underrated, is that you can coach clients confidently. Now, this has really been eye-opening to me because since releasing my coaching certification program, which is the CLS Coaching Certification, and if you just think that it stands for my initials, actually, it stands for Coach of Life Success, which is the designation that you're gonna walk away with when you get this accredited coaching certification, but I'll talk more about that later. But one thing that I've heard from our cohort of clients who are coming in, getting their certification, is that part of the reason why they wanted to do this is because they've already started their business and they've already started working with clients, but they didn't feel quite comfortable, or they didn't know if they were doing it right, or if they could be doing all that they could be doing in order to create those breakthroughs. So if you are just starting your coaching business, or again, even if you've been coaching for a long time, and that's this kind of niggling fear in the back of your mind, you really just want to eliminate that, overcome imposter syndrome, having a coaching certification can help you coach clients more confidently. Now, another thing that your coaching certification can do for you that I find that not enough people talk about, but this is really big, is it can allow you to coach in corporate, right? So you can do this in one of two ways. One, you could do this as an employee. This could be something that allows you to get a promotion. Maybe you become a manager or director and you have these coaching capabilities where you can coach your team. But what I like, right, as an entrepreneur, is that you can actually come in as an outside coach or as a consultant and provide consulting and coaching services to corporations who need some level of empowerment or leadership development or coaching for either their employees or sometimes their constituents. And I say constituents because it might be a nonprofit organization that wants to work with you. It could be an association. There's lots of different organizations that bring in outside coaches in order to provide coaching services, particularly for people that they want to either put in or groom for leadership positions. And corporations are very much they want to see that you have the bona fide credentials. So if you have a coaching certification, you are now eligible to go after those types of contracts and really pitch your services not just to individuals, but to corporations as a whole. All right, going along those lines, the next thing that you can do with a coaching certification, and again, not talked about a lot, is that you can actually go after government contracts too. Yes, this is a little known secret. And I'm just now learning about this space myself. I've been working with various partners who are very well versed in this field, and they're like, oh my goodness, now that you have a coaching certification, you have an accredited coaching certification, you train and coach other coaches, you have your MBA, that opens up the world to all these different things that you can do, not just in corporate America, but in the government, right? And when I say the government, I don't just mean, the state, local, or even the federal government, but there are oftentimes large organizations like the UN or the World Bank or what have you that all put out proposals, and they're looking sometimes for outside coaches to be able to come in and coach various communities or demographics. And so these contracts, again, fly under the radar because a lot of people who do have the credential don't even realize that this is something that they could be going after. So if you have a coaching certification, that is a huge benefit that you don't want to sleep on. All right, I have more where that came from, but first I want to hear from you. What are you hoping that your coaching certification will do for you? Share in the comments below. And the next thing that a coaching certification can do for you is it can allow you to become a guest expert on TV. And yes, I have actually done this before. I've actually served as a guest expert on a local morning news show, sharing tips about empowerment and life coaching and personal development for Women's History Month. So that was really exciting. And so I find, again, that if you have that coaching certification, when the producer who produces the show, they're going through your bona fides, they're going through your credentials, and they're like, oh, who do we want to bring on here? Having a credential still definitely helps. You don't need one per se, but if you have that certification, it can often move you to the top of the line. All right, the next thing that a coaching certification can do for you that almost no one talks about, I've literally never heard anybody talk about this, except for my circle, because my circle of friends, they're entrepreneurs and they do things like this. But that is, your coaching certification can help you get positions where you sit on boards, committees, and other councils. Now, boards and committees and councils are essentially like advisory groups that are tasked with making sure that that business or that nonprofit or the government initiative is operating the way that it's supposed to. And you'll find that they often like to bring in people who have diverse experience, but they want to make sure, again, that you have legit experience that is really going to help them steer their organization the way that they want to go. And the great thing about this, when you sit on boards, you often only have to participate, so many hours or so many days a month. So it's not like a full-time job. And I would even say just, a handful of days and a handful of hours, per quarter or even per year, but you do get paid to be on these boards. Now, obviously the larger, corporation or the larger nonprofit or whatever council that you're sitting on, then, there's more pay that's going to be available to you. But even beyond just getting paid to sit on these boards, the opportunities that you get exposed to and the visibility that you get exposed to is actually really phenomenal. Oftentimes you get more business and more clients just from your visibility on sitting on these boards. And again, having that coaching certification gives you the kind of credibility where people really put you to the top of the short list. All right, so those are all the things that a coaching certification can do for you. Now, one thing that it can't do for you and that I have maintained that it cannot do for you is that it won't automatically bring you clients, right? You do want to have a coaching certification. Again, if you deal with that imposter syndrome, if you don't know how to coach, if you're not quite sure on your methodology, but even after you get a coaching certification, and I stress this because I feel like this is the dirty little secret of the industry, it is imperative that you learn how to build a business and more importantly, that you learn how to build a brand, right? I referenced Tony Robbins at the beginning of this video. Why? Because he has a huge brand that everyone knows. And so you want to have a brand so that you stand out from the crowd. And so if you're interested in getting your coaching certification and learning how to build your brand, you're gonna love it in my coaching certification. Again, we can help you get an accredited coaching certification in just 90 days. We also teach you how to come up with your own coaching methodology so that you will stand out from a sea of other coaches. And then on top of that, we show you how to build your brand so that you can become the next big name in your industry. So if that's of interest to you, you can go ahead and click the link below for all the details and apply. And if accepted, you'll be invited to an enrollment call with my team of enrollment coordinators. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you loved it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you can't wait for my next video, make sure you're subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next podcast or my next YouTube video, make sure you're following me on Instagram and TikTok. It's CourtneyLSanders on both. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.